Hello, hello, hello. We are a little bit wet today, but we're going to do this anyway. This is the GCI Turf Ryegrass. A link is in the description below if you're interested. So what exactly am I doing here? Well, if you know anything, whoops, hang on. There's a little bit of wind blowing. If you know anything about Bermudagrass, then you know that when the frost comes, the Bermudagrass will go dormant, right? Turns paper sack brown, and you lose all that color. Well, you got a couple of options. One, you can look at it and be completely fine with it, which a lot of people do. Number two, you can paint it, and if you paint it, then you'll have that green color all winter and throughout the spring of the next year until the Bermuda wakes up again. And the last option is you can rye overseed, and that is what I've chosen to do today. Bear with me a second. Let me grab a blower. I got some leaves over in that corner I want to blow before I put the seed down. All right, I'm back. So as I was saying, the other option is to rye overseed. And that's gonna kind of be like having a warm season stand of turf during the summer, and then during the fall, well, late fall, winter, and early spring, I'm gonna have a cool season stand of turf. So I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds in a way. So honestly, there's really not a lot of prep that you need to do for this. You can see the discoloration in the Bermuda out here, and that's simply where we cut the grass down a little bit shorter than normal. Been cutting this at, I think, around 3/4 of an inch, and for this rye overseed I took it down to a 1/2 inch. So not a tremendous amount of difference there. Oh, I'm about to run out of seed. Come on, make it, make it. I ain't put quite enough. Go, 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 go. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Get that a little bit out of there. If you wanted to do optimal process to prepare this area for rye overseeding, if I were gonna do it, I would cut it down to what I've got it now, 1/2 inch or so. I would actually come out here and verticut it and thin out the canopy. Kind of actually use it kind of like a dethatcher and just kind of open the canopy up a little bit. Clean up all the debris and that kind of thing. Probably give it one more quick clean mow and then put the rye seed out. But cannot tell you the number of athletic fields that I know just cut it a little shorter and go out there and spread the ryegrass, the seed. And then golf courses the same way. I don't think I've ever seen a golf course actually go through the trouble of prepping the Bermuda, like verticutting it or thatching it or plugging it or aerating it or whatever, before they put the grass seed down. They just kind of throw the rye out there and it's done. Matter of fact, I went on a little mini vacation with my wife and kids and played Pine Needles and Mid Pines, two really nice golf courses in Pinehurst, North Carolina. And they had overseeded all of their fairways and tee boxes and didn't touch them. I could just see ryegrass seed everywhere. No signs of aeration, verticutting, slice seeding, dethatching, none of that. Just threw it out. And that really has nothing to do with the Bermuda, but has everything to do with the rye. Because the ryegrass, you can pretty much throw a little bit on a rock and take a leak on it and it'll probably come up. That's just how good of a germinator rye is. All right, so I go around my edges first with a drop seeder. That way I don't have to get super close to the edges with this thing, and I'm not worried as much about throwing grass seed over in my beds. And on top of that, that's how I get my nice clean lines, is with that drop seeder. I'm going down at 10 pounds of grass seed per 1,000 square feet. That's kind of a typical overseed rate for Bermuda. And this wind is about to drive me nuts. It is a little bit breezy today, so my spread pattern is a little bit jacked up, but I think I can make it work. Now I do have one bare dirt area over here in this corner where the Bermuda just doesn't get a lot of sunlight, and so it's more bare dirt over there than anything. So I'm going to grab the aerator and just kind of work that one spot simply because it's bare dirt, and I don't want the grass seed to wash any in that area. But the rest of this, I'm not even going to aerate it or nothing. I'm going to let the rainfall that's coming tomorrow kind of push the seed down into the canopy of the Bermuda and get that seed to soil contact that we're looking for. Yeah, the wind's blowing the other way right now, and this is working a little bit better. It's always fun trying to spread grass seed in the wind, right? All right, that looks pretty good. After I go around this edge one more time, then I'll just kind of go straight back and forth like I'm mowing, or like I would typically spread grass seed. Ah, this wind is jacking me up. Go away, go away, go away. So this is a premium ryegrass. These are the best of the best Mountain View seed varieties that they have available. So you're going to get that crazy dark green ryegrass color out of this. And another thing, some folks ask, well, why in the world wouldn't you use a perennial ryegrass? Well, excuse me, why wouldn't you use an annual ryegrass? This is perennial ryegrass. I don't use annual ryegrass because of the color and the texture of it. It's just nasty, it's spindly, it's weak, it's light green, lime green. I'm sure some of the newer varieties probably look better than the older stuff, but I'm not a fan of it in any kind of way whatsoever. So that's why I use a perennial rye, simply because the color is a million times better. It's like night and day difference, the color and the texture you get from perennial rye as opposed to annual rye. So what is the aftercare once this comes up? Well, let me talk about watering right quick. Watering, I've yet to have my irrigation system on out here at the shop. Bermuda just don't need a lot of water. And even after the ridiculous summer we had, my Bermuda still looked absolutely amazing all year. Until now, because, obviously we cut it down a little bit shorter and you can see some of the scalp marks and that kind of thing. But watering the rye, I'm going to attempt to not turn my irrigation on and just let Mother Nature take care of it. We got a pretty decent chance of rain again tomorrow. And of course the ground is already really, really, really moist. So when this seed gets down into the ground from the rainfall, it's going to come in contact with that moisture that's already there. And I think that alone should probably be enough to get this to germinate. And oh boy, talk about some really, really cool mowing this spring. You've seen some of my ryegrass videos out here and how this place looks. after a good rye overseed. It's absolutely amazing. So the aftercare, once the rye gets up, it'll get no fertilizer on it, absolutely zero fertilizer, until I am 100% positive this Bermuda is 100% dormant, like completely toasty brown dormant. And then alone will I begin to do like some spoon feeding applications out here with liquid. And I'll pretty much only use liquid on the rye. Well, I guess when I edit this video, I'll find out if you can hear me over this machine. I sure hope you can. We got just a little bit more left in the bucket here. I'm going to kind of put it out real quick, spread it out. I do have a good feeling that some of this might be a little thicker in spots, simply because that wind is blowing a little bit, kind of messing me up. But I think once it all comes out and flushes out, it should be fine. Vibrator on this turfware that kind of jiggles the grass seed down in the bottom of the hopper. That way I can get it all out. And even with that vibrator, you don't get every last little piece out, so I kind of rake it back in here, kind of slide it back to the end like that. I think I've got that spread fairly evenly, even though we got some wind we're dealing with. It's a handful of spots here and there that it's just a pinch thicker than other spots. I think that'll all flush out and even out and be just fine once it all comes in good. So there you go, a little ryegrass overseed. Now hopefully all we'll do is get some rain tomorrow like they're calling for. And then this stuff will kind of start germinating. It is a little bit on the cool side right now. For context, we're October 28. Hey, we're October 28. So, you know, it's kind of pushing the limit on how late you want to put rye down. But at the same time, it depends on the weather. You know, I have no doubt we will go through a couple of weeks here and have a little bit warmer spell where it's, you know, 60 degrees or so. And I have no doubt. I've never put ryegrass down and not come up. It's just one of those type of seeds to where a full-blown rookie can put it down and get it to come up. Now, let me put a little disclaimer in here. Okay, this process I'm showing you right now is specifically for rye overseed. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, I wanted to grab that empty bag of seed before it went out in the road. I want to be overly clear that this process is strictly for overseeding Bermudagrass, okay? You don't take rye and overseed your fescue with it. You don't take rye and overseed your bluegrass with it. You don't take rye and plant it in a yard as a monostand. Unless you live in an area of the country to where ryegrass does well, okay? If you remember one of my latest videos on the land, we're talking about geographically, I got that word right that time, geographic locations and seasonally, okay? We're going into a season right now in fall, early winter, through the winter, early spring, to where the ryegrass will thrive because it's in a cool climate. As soon as the summer heat hits, this ryegrass is as good as gone, okay? You folks that live up north, some of you folks may have a completely total full yard of ryegrass, and it does fantastic all year long. We can't do that here, not where I live. You can't have a ryegrass yard in North Carolina in the middle of summer unless you just go well above and beyond in taking care of it, watering mainly. But still at that, I don't know that you can have one. So I want to be clear that even though you hear me say ryegrass germinates quick, it's dark green, it looks good, it's the best striping grass on the planet, in my opinion, don't go put it in your fescue or in your blue, anything like that, unless you are familiar with ryegrass being grown in your area of the country. Hang on, let me get this other bag. Now on the flip side of that, if you live anywhere that has Bermudagrass and you have a Bermudagrass standard turf, and that's like your permanent, ongoing yard, okay? I don't care where you live. You could probably overseed with rye, okay? It really doesn't matter where you live in the country. You can overseed it with rye because the majority of the country, the overwhelming majority of the country, has a cooler climate in the fall, winter, and spring, okay? You get down super South Florida, maybe South Texas, Louisiana, places like that on the very southern border of the United States, then heck, you may not even have to worry about this because your Bermuda may not even go dormant. It may stay green during the winter and early spring. So this may not even be an option for you unless you just got a wild hair up your butt and wanted to try it. You know what I mean? I also want to make this point very clear that ryegrass, I'll make sure my boots ain't picking that seed up. You'll have a bunch of boot prints out here. Well, I'll kick it off when I get back in here. We'll see how that does. I want to make it very clear that rye is allelopathic to Bermuda, means it emits a poison in the ground to Bermuda. So if I let this ryegrass stay here long enough into the spring, right about the time when the rye is like looking minty good, like crazy good, if I let it go past that, while the Bermuda is trying to come out of dormancy and in transition, trying to wake up because the weather's getting warmer, the sun's coming out and that kind of thing, being nice and bright and warming up the ground, if I wait too late, it could set back my Bermuda in a negative way. Could leave me with some dead patches out here, okay? I've fought coaches on athletic fields ever since I've been doing athletic fields. That was the whole reason I went to painting, because it's much healthier for the Bermuda. Well, why didn't you paint this, Pete? Because I didn't want to. It's plain and simple. I painted it several years in a row. I wanted to do ryegrass this year. It's just a choice I made, and if it wipes out the whole thing, then I've accepted that consequence and I'm completely fine with it. Chances are that won't happen. But if you spray out the ryegrass early enough, which is like, for me, where I live, mid-April-ish, maybe close to the 1st of May, and get that ryegrass smoked off with a herbicide, and then that opens the door for the Bermuda to kind of wake up as if the ryegrass were never here. So, it's kind of a little bit of give and take on that, and I want to make sure that you're well aware of that. So, if you have some issues with the Bermuda not wanting to wake up, it's probably because you didn't spray the ryegrass out early enough in the year, because you were enjoying mowing that rye and striping it to no end, because that's when it looks its absolute best. And, we're not planting the rye for it to look its absolute best in peak time of the year. I'm planting the rye so that when this Bermuda goes dormant, I don't have to walk out my door and look at brown grass. I can look at something green, okay? That's literally the only reason you would ever rye overseed Bermuda, is simply for the color. And in sports turf, it would be more for the playing surface. In golf, it would be for the color and the sports the surface that they're playing on, so they're not playing on dormant turf, they're playing on a living stand of turf. So which one's better, painting or seeding, rye overseeding? I mean, I don't know, you pick one. If you like a natural grass, a real legit stand of turf, overseeded Bermuda, then go with the ryegrass. If you don't mind a little bit of the fake look and you don't mind painting the turf and you still get your green grass during the winter, fall and spring, then paint it. I mean, it's not a hard decision. It's not like the end of the world if you do one or the other. It's just you do have to realize the allelopathic characteristic of ryegrass, and it could potentially, maybe, kind of sort of damage your Bermuda if everything goes right. So there you go. We're gonna let it rain and just kind of push this grass seed right down in the canopy right there. And I'm gonna kick my feet off right here and get that little bit of seed off my boot. And yes, I will go to the hose pipe and wash these boots off before I go to my house. I don't plan on walking in my yard, my fescue, but in case I forget and walk out through the yard to do something, I don't want any of this ryegrass seed getting in my yard. So yes, I will go wash my boots off. Check you later.